Okay, story time. When I first started channeling, it never entered into my brain that I would be channeling ETs, extraterrestrials, okay, or aliens, or energies that were different than what I was experiencing at the time, which was angels, spirit guides, loved ones, ascended masters, archangels. So for me, it never entered my brain that I would be channeling people's ET starseed family members from other incarnations in other vessels. Okay. And I remember it was probably about 2.5 years in of doing steady readings when I realized, oh, there's these ET starseed family members here. And some of them were Lyran, some of them were Pleiadian, and some were Arcturian, and some, and so it was really fascinating. And then as I moved along, I started to see and communicate with ETs that were vastly different, and did not realize they even existed. You start to realize that it's just endless. It's endless as to how many different ETs there are out there, how many different energies, and it's really fascinating to communicate with them and bring them to the forefront for my clients to chat with. Some people don't have ET starseed family members with them simply because they just don't need them in their lives at this time. And some will get them at a later time in their lives. Usually they come and they're helping us with ascension symptoms, ascending, our diets while ascending, and awakening, okay? So they're very specifically helping us with specific things in our lives. But I remember, just like everybody else, back, say 5 years ago even, that people were always like, well, when are the aliens coming? When are we going to visit with the aliens? And I was like, I would always kind of laugh, and I'd be like, as if the aliens would want to come here, and chat with us. I would just slough it off, basically. But what I soon came to realize is that we can communicate with them anytime we want. They've always been here. And there's new ones showing up, assisting us. There are many light-filled beings that are here helping to raise the vibrational frequency here on the planet and helping each of us. And many of them have been here this whole time. So, the old way I used to think was, we're probably never going to communicate with the aliens. And when, it's, some people see UFOs, that's great and everything, but having a one-on-one conversation with them, yeah, right. And then now, life is a lot different now that my channels have opened further. It's like going for a walk with a friend at night and being like, there's 2 grays at the end of the street there, and then stopping and wondering if I should walk any further. And, my friend who also has mediumship abilities saying, yeah, I see them too. But they didn't feel threatening. They were just there to help us. So, and my angels nudged me along. I'm like getting nudged along down the sidewalk. Okay. So by the time I get to the end of the sidewalk, they're just offering to help with specific things in our lives and having a chat with us about the things to come, and just trying to lend a helping hand, shall we say. So you come to realize that these aliens or ET energies are aware of everything that's going on Earth, and that many of them are not just showing up in front of us, because the whole populace would go just mental. There'd be a lot of fear and panic, right? And also, the other thing that I realized is that their energy and their frequency, their way of doing things, is vastly different than ours. So the way that they communicate and the way that they observe things, even their emotional range, a gray's emotional range doesn't really go past curiosity. I haven't seen a gray really express or know how to express love or all the other emotions that we feel on Earth. I think they come to Earth because they're very curious about us. They've actually relayed a message in that they are fascinated how we are birthing children through our bodies. So we're literally bringing light beings through our light beings into the world. We're birthing light into the world. And they find that really fascinating because obviously they don't do it that way. And we're just really fascinating to observe. That's how they observe us. They're vastly different than us. So they're curious about how we do things. But there's tall whites and there's blue avians and there's just like, it's endless how many ETs there are. And it's really fascinating to communicate with them and see their perspective on Earth, on us, how they would recommend doing things versus how I'm doing things. Thanks for the tip. So, the ones that I communicate with are here helping us. And it's really fascinating because it never entered my brain that I could communicate with them now. But as soon as your channels start to open, and what I mean by your channels is your chakra centers. So your chakra centers opening will allow you to feel the energy around you more, and for that energy to funnel through your chakra center into your mind or through your throat, into your throat box, right? There's some examples of communication, and communicate with us telepathically through ways of our own thought forms. So it'd be an energy talking to you. It may sound like your internal voice at first. You can only imagine if we all started hearing the pitch and tone of our angels and our spirit guides and the ET family members around us, might freak us out a bit, right? So it happens very slowly, and it is you picking up on your own internal voice forming thoughts, but you're not the one forming the thoughts. Okay? It's an energy talking to you through you. So yeah, that was really fascinating when that started to happen. Now I'll get some really unique, different ETs, and they'll show up for the reading, but they're like a far ways away. And they tell me they just don't want to alarm me or upset me. So they don't come in right in my face right away, which I really appreciate. But in order to see them a little bit more, I asked them to come in a little bit closer. A little bit closer. Okay, that's close enough. And then I can describe what they look like. What are they doing here in your life? And how are they helping you? Etc., etc. So I can then relay the messages. And a lot of the energy that we have, our soul's energy incarnating through these vessels and these experiences and this way of communicating, we bring with us into these vessels. And so depending on where you've incarnated, it really can impact and affect you in this lifetime in various ways. So it's really fascinating to see. So nowadays, it's me and my mediumship friends will be like, I think that person is really Pleiadian. Yeah. That person's really Arcturian. Yeah. So you can sense and you can feel the dominant frequency from these lifetimes. It's really fascinating. All right. If you're interested in coming and checking out my YouTube channel, you can come and check out the links in the description box below, or come and visit my channel at Kristin Davies. Bye.